Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here, my name is Ben. I'm an online reseller, and here on my YouTube channel I show you how you can make some extra income or a side hustle by selling stuff online on platforms such as eBay, Poshmark, Amazon, stuff like that. Today our focus is eBay. We are going to be going through 35 items that have sold for me since the beginning of the new year. So since 2020 began, these items have been selling. This is by no means all the items that have sold for me. These are just a selected few to kind of give you guys an idea of the kind of stuff that has been selling. With that being said, let's hop right into the video. So first up we have this. It's a Harley Davidson plaid flannel. It was actually quilted on the interior, as you can see right here, and that interior quilting actually boosted the price of this flannel up. Now Harley Davidson stuff sells well pretty much no matter what. You can sell anything from t-shirts to coats to jackets, anything like that. This one had a nice big spell out on the back, and it was insulated on the inside, so it did command a higher price. I only had this up for about a day before it sold, and it sold for 50 bucks, so this was a great find. I ended up paying like 5 bucks at Goodwill for this, so keep an eye out for Harley Davidson stuff. Here we have an Apple wireless keyboard. Apple products are going to sell well pretty much no matter what they are. There are a few exceptions to that rule. However, keyboards are generally all going to sell. On the back of any Apple product, you'll be able to find this model number right here. Typically begins with an A or something. You can look that product up, see exact comps on eBay, and they should sell relatively fast. This one actually sat around for a little longer than I typically have Apple products, but it did end up selling for a total price of $30, and I ended up paying, I think, like 3 or 4 bucks for this at a garage sale at the end of the season. This is a Roar men's button front shirt, and Roar is a really good seller if it has some kind of pattern to it. I noticed the solid colored ones, kind of like this one, take a little bit longer to sell than some of the crazy patterned ones. This one did have a little bit of a paisley pattern right here down the buttons, and it didn't sit too long. I think it sat in my store for about a month, maybe a month and a half before it sold, but it did end up selling for full price at $27.50. Just be on the lookout for Roar, and yeah. Here we have a Babolat Drive 105 tennis racket. It's a great brand to look for in the tennis field. People love to pick it up new and used, so always look up Babolat stuff if you find it. You can find rackets, you can find shoes. Anything from them is going to sell well. This ended up being one of the lower end tennis rackets. However, it was still worth picking up. I think I had like 3 bucks into it. Ended up selling it for 40 bucks. When you're looking at tennis rackets, right here where the neck connects to the racket at, you want to make sure that's all one piece. That tends to be a mark of a higher end racket and something that should be looked up. Now, that's not always saying if it is one piece that's going to be worth something. However, it is a good indicator that it would be a higher end racket. If you find Babolat though, it's pretty good guess that it's going to be worth something, so make sure you're looking up models of them and keeping an eye out because they are totally worth picking up. So I found this item last week at Goodwill. This is a O.J. Simpson Mitchell and Ness football jersey. This was a larger size. It was a 56, which I believe is a 3XL. It did have a little bit of staining right here, you can see on the back next to his name. However, that wasn't a huge factor on the price. I did drop the price a little bit. However, O.J. Simpson obviously is a high-profile player due to some other circumstances, but his stuff still sells well. This ended up only sitting on my store for a week. This one ended up selling at best offer of $50, so I took $10 off even though it only been on there for a week. I was happy with that because I only had like $7.50 into it. I was really happy with that profit. Jerseys are definitely something to look out for, and Mitchell and Ness in general is a great jersey brand to look for. So I pick up cashmere items pretty often on my channel, and I talk about them a lot, how even cheap ones can sell for like 20 to 25 bucks. This one's a nicer one. It's a Bulacan Jones V-neck long sleeve sweater. It is 100% cashmere, and it was a really nice feeling sweater actually. It's definitely a brand to look for in the future. In general, cashmere stuff is going to sell. This one sat on my store a little longer just because it was a higher end brand, so it sat on there for like 2 to 3 months. But that being said, I still got $42.50 out of it. I probably had between $5 and $7.50 into this sweater, so I made a very good profit because I was looking up my cashmere items. So I look up new brands no matter what, which this brand was new to me, so I would have looked it up either way, but it being cashmere made me really want to look it up, so that is the reason I ended up looking up this item in the thrift store, and it ended up paying off pretty good. So I actually picked these up a while ago. I picked them up at a thrift store, and they were just sitting in the bottom of my death pile for the longest time, and I seen them poking out, and I thought I listed them, but apparently I didn't. But these were two Simply Safe pieces. They were like a siren and the keypad for a personal home security alarm, and they ended up selling to the same buyer. He bought both of them for $60 total, so I gave him like 10 bucks off, not a big deal. And they sold, I think, like in 3 days after I listed them, after they'd been sitting in my death pile for like a month. So it just goes to show you, if something's sitting in your death pile, it's not making you money. You want to get that listed and get it on there, because otherwise you're just sitting on money that you could have in your pocket. Here we have a video game. This is Lolo 2 on the NES. Video games are obviously very good sellers and very hot items. Everybody's looking for them, so if you see them, you need to pick them up. But this one is a medium tier game. It's not a super rare one, but it's not a super common one. Ended up having it up there for $39.95. Nobody was buying it for a while, so I dropped the price down to $33.95, and it sold 2 days after starting the sale. Pretty good pickup. This was in that lot of video games that I picked up for 20 bucks, so I am well into the profit on these, and I am very happy to get this out of my inventory. So Polo Ralph Lauren is one of those brands that you need to be careful on. There's some very good items to pick up, and then there are some items that just will sit in your store forever and take, a year to sell. This is one of those items that I would definitely recommend looking for. This is a Polo Ralph Lauren full zip hoodie. Full zip hoodies in general tend to sell decently. This is one with a big pony on it though, so you can see this pony right here is a lot larger than some of the other ones that you'll see on polo shirts. Big ponies tend to sell better than those smaller ones. This also had the crest on it, which is really good, but the real selling factor of this was this right here. It is a larger size. Larger sizes tend to sell better, faster, and for more money. And when it comes to polo, I see that they do sell really, really well. So this is a 4XB. It's a larger size, and I had it up there for $45. I only sat on it for about a week, and then it ended up selling for a best offer of $40. So great thing to look for. This is that Robert Graham shirt I picked up while I was in New York. I paid $9 for it up there, and the reason I picked this one up in specific was because it did have this large embroidery on the front, so you can see it's really intricate embroidery, and it's a black on black shirt. Now some of his shirts are worth a lot of money, and some of his shirts are worth around the $20 range. So this one is like a pretty good shirt to find. Usually you want to find the ones with the really bright colors and some crazy patterns on them. But this one being a black on black, I figured it was unique enough to be in the mid tier, but the ones that are solid are usually the lower end tier ones. So Robert Graham is a great brand to look for. Just be on the lookout for the ones with the wild and crazy colors overall. So here are those Teva sandals. I picked these up in a lot over the summer. I paid 10 bucks for like 15 to 20 pairs of them. And these were very good sellers. They were consistent sellers. But the thing that I wanted to emphasize in this video was the reason I picked them up. I picked them up because they were in a huge lot. They were all the same color and they were all the same size. Because of that, I was able to only make one single listing on eBay, which made it a lot easier while listing. If I would have sold these sandals on their own and not in a lot, I probably wouldn't have picked them up. But because there were so many of them that were the same, I was willing to take that chance. I paid 10 bucks for all of them, and all of them have now sold. Most of them sold at the $19.95 range, but we're in the middle of winter, so obviously sandals aren't in the highest demand right now. So I dropped the price down a little bit by 15%, 17 bucks, sold out the rest of them, and I made a very, very good profit on these. So be on the lookout for bulk purchases when you can find them, if you can put them all in the same listing. Here's a great brand to look for. This is a pair of cool men's outdoor jeans. You can see the logo right here. This is a great thing to look for. I found these in New York and I paid like 10 bucks for them, but I knew they would sell fast. I had these in my store for, I don't know, I think they sold in like a day or two, and they sold for a best offer of $40, $5 off, no big deal. But the reason I picked them up is because I knew the brand. They have jeans, they have shirts, they have jackets. Anything cool is going to sell for a decent price. These jeans were no exception. Like I said, $40 turns 10 bucks into $40 really quickly. Here's another great brand to look for. This is Outdoor Research. This was a half zip lightweight jacket, and it ended up selling for the full price of $35, and I only had this in my store for about 2 weeks before it sold. Hiking brands are great to look for. I can't stress that enough. I sell a ton of them. Maybe it's because it's something that I'm interested in. That's why I find them so often. I'm not really sure, but I sell the heck out of them. And if you guys aren't learning your outdoor brands, you need to be. Outdoor Research is no exception. Here's what the tag will look like. And then usually you'll see this more often than not. It'll have the OR on it for outdoor research. Great brand to look for and something that you need to have on your bolo list. I have one more outdoor research item actually, which is this. It's a woman's raincoat. This was another item I picked up in New York. I meant to put in the video, somehow I missed the clip, but if you watch Josh's channel, he showed me picking it up in there. I thought this was going to be worth a little more. I thought it was going to be worth in like the $70 to $80 range. However, after I got home and I looked up the exact model, I seen that it was one that was in like the $50 range. No big deal, still a great profit for like the 12 or whatever bucks I paid on it, but I ended up selling it for $50 and sat on it for under 2 weeks because I listed it after I got back from New York. Wouldn't be a what sold video if I didn't show you a Polly Pocket. Yes, I still have some left. I think I have like 3 more in my inventory. This was one of the last ones to go, but Polly Pocket stuff, I can't stress it enough. Look for Polly Pocket stuff, pick it up, and make sure that you know to look for them because they are fantastic sellers. This one I had listed at $35, took a best offer of $30. Yes, I sat on it for a little bit longer on this one, but typically they are really fast sellers and stuff to get out of your inventory. Easy money. So Lacoste is one of those brands that I pick up even though it is one of like the lower end brands because it does sell so fast for me. The used polo shirts and stuff I typically get between 15 and 20 bucks for, and I'm fine with picking them up at 5 bucks because I know they'll sell within a day or two. This one was new with tags, which was awesome, and it was a classic fit one. So you can see right here it had the new tags on it. It had the newer Lacoste label on it. Here's what you want to look for. Make sure that patch logo on Lacoste is stitched on there like it should be because the ones that are faked are typically not stitched on there. But this was new with tags. It had an initial value of $90. Obviously, I wasn't going to charge that on my store. I had it up there for $45. Took a best offer of $40.45. So this was a great pickup at $5. So here's a Starbucks tumbler. I don't know what it is, but lately I've been seeing a ton of resellers selling the tumblers and mugs and stuff. I don't know what it is. That mug life hashtag's been blowing up everywhere, so I had to throw one in that I sold. This is a Starbucks 2017 Hawaii ceramic tumbler. I've talked about Starbucks stuff all the time on my channel when I do what sold videos, and I just wanted to throw one in because mug life's been everywhere. But if you see a Starbucks like city mug or something, it's probably going to have some value to it and worth picking up at $1 or $2. However, you want to be careful with what you're picking up outside of that. Some mugs, yes, do have a collector's market, but 99.9% of the mugs out there are just not worth touching, not worth even looking up. There are a few. Typically, they're going to sit in your inventory for a while before you get any sales on them, so I typically don't pick them up unless they are Starbucks or some crazy like theme park mug or something. So here we have a North Face men's waffle thermal shirt. It's just a 1/4 zip, pretty basic item. It was just straight brown. Even these kind of items sell well if you can keyword them well. So a lot of people would keyword this as like sweater or something like that, but because I put waffle knit and thermal in the title, I think that's why it ended up selling so fast, because this is a flooded market, but I only sat on this for like 2 weeks before it sold, so, and I got a really good price on it. It sold for $35. I ended up paying $5 for this, but I've seen people sell these for like $20 because they're not using the correct keywords in their titles. Keywords are a huge factor when it comes to eBay searches and something that you really need to look into because the algorithm places your keywording very high in the search results. This is a Marmot Goose Down jacket. Marmot's a great brand to look for. Again, another hiking brand. Goose Down is also something that if you see it, you should probably look it up because downfill jackets are a premium and they are very much in style right now. This one right here was a lightweight packable one, and with it being a Marmot one, I was able to get a pretty decent price out of it. I think I ended up paying like $7.50 for this at the thrift store, ended up selling it for $50. Speaking of Goose Down jackets, here's another one, and I don't think I've talked about this brand before on my channel. This is Lolly or Loli, I don't know how you say it. It is another hiking brand. It's a packable down-filled jacket. These ones are popular for people that are going on day hikes and stuff like that, and it's a pretty decent brand overall to look for. I don't find it super often, but when I do, I definitely look it up and pick it up. They have other items outside of jackets that are also good sellers. This one right here had the little bag that it came with, so it was a packable one. And right here on the tag is where you want to look for the down filling. You can see right there, 90% duvet. And it is a fantastic brand to look for. So if you see this brand floating around somewhere, here's what the tag looks like. Pick it up. It's a great one. This is a pair of Allen Edmonds men's cap-toe leather shoes. Now, I don't find Allen Edmonds too much, but when I do, they are definitely something that I pick up. These ones were cap-toe, as you can see right here on the toe of the shoe. They do have this line that goes across the toes, and that's what makes it a cap-toe. Now, on the inside, on the soles, you'll typically be able to see what kind of model it is for Allen Edmonds. This one didn't have it, so I had to do a little research on it. Ended up picking these up for like $8, I think, and sold them for $65 in about a month. So here's a brand I've actually been finding a lot lately. Before this year, I didn't find it that often, but this is a Smart Wool men's lightweight crewneck sweater. Now, this was a really light one, just basically a long sleeve shirt. Smart Wool stuff sells very well. It's a very sought after brand, and I'm glad I'm starting to find it around our area. Here's the label if you guys want to look at it. It is a very good thing to look for. Again, I didn't find it before this year a ton. I'd find it here and there. But this year I've been scoring on it, so it's something that you want to look for. And this one sold for the full price of $35 in about a month. Barber. Barber is a great brand to look for. This one is a men's long sleeve sweater, and it did have like the elbow patches on the sweater itself. This picture's kind of blown out. I should have edited the color on this one, but this one sat on my store for I think like a month and a half, 2 months before it sold. Here's the tag of what you want to look for. Great brands overall. If you ever see it, look it up because their jackets sell well, their sweaters sell well, their long sleeve zip shirts sell well. Barber's just a great brand overall and a pretty high-end brand. So I sold this one for the full price of $50 and I had like $5 into it at a Goodwill. So lately, this brand's turned into a bread and butter item for me. This is Untuck It. Here's what the tag looks like. It's a great brand to look for. It's a super fast-selling brand, and it has a very good following. People seem to like them a lot. This one right here was a flannel shirt for men, and it sold in like 2 days for me. It's a great brand no matter what things you're picking up. If it's a flannel, if it's a button front shirt, if it's just a regular shirt, some sweaters. They all sell. This one sold for $35, and like I said, it is a common thing that I find, so you should be able to find them in your area if you look around. Here's another Marmot jacket, and I just wanted to throw this in to compare it to that down jacket that I sold for $50. This one is just a lightweight full zip jacket. It's a fleece lined one. It's not a down one, but it still sells for good money just because of the brand. Marmot, like I said, is a great hiking brand to look for, and it has a cult following. This one sold for $35, and I sat on it for about 2 weeks before it sold. So this was an awesome find. This was an estate sale find. I ended up paying like $20 for this at the estate sale. It's a Canon AE1, which is a pretty common model to find. This is a film camera, and in general, film cameras, some of them have good value, some of them don't, most of them don't. But Canon AE1s is one that you will come across relatively often if you're going to garage sales and estate sales. This one was the program, so it wasn't the base model, so it sold for a little more. And it had this really cool like Olympic cap on it. It said official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympic Games. That cap alone on eBay was selling for like $20, so that's cool. But I sold this whole lot of the camera, 2 lenses, and a flash along with the camera bag in the background for the full price of $150. Like I said, I paid $20, so this was a great investment. Be on the lookout for old film cameras. If they have like metal parts on them and feel pretty heavy duty, they're probably worth at least looking up. You want to look up like the Canons, you want to look up the Nikons, some of the Minoltas, stuff like that is stuff you want to look for. And old school cameras still have a following. They aren't something that are obsolete. There's still plenty of people that shoot film. Here we have a pair of Madewell high-rise skinny jeans. Madewell's a great jean brand to look for. Pretty much all of their jeans are going to sell right around the $30 range. It is a women's brand. I don't think they do men's brands. If they do, I don't find them. But this is what the tag looks like. You'll be able to find not only jeans, but they also do jackets and shirts and stuff. Shirts tend to sell around, like long sleeve shirts tend to sell around like the $20-ish mark. And jackets sell like upwards of like $50. So, or down jackets do at least. But the jeans tend to sell pretty fast and pretty regularly. You'll be able to see inside the waistband, you'll be able to find the model. So this one was a 9-inch high-rise skinny. And it's just a great brand to look for in the women's jeans section. I had this listed at $35, took a best offer of $30 on it. So here we have an Amazon Kindle. Kindles sell very well and very regularly, even if they are an older model. So this one isn't like an extremely old model, but it's not a new one by any means. If you look on the back, you'll be able to find the model number. So this one was D00901. You just type that in, you'll be able to find comps for them. And even if they don't have the chargers and stuff, they still sell pretty regularly. I had this one listed at $35 and it sold in under 24 hours. Patagonia. Patagonia is a fantastic brand. It has a cult following and it's super in right now with like high schoolers. It's a hiking brand originally. Now it's kind of gearing more towards like the fashion side of things. But this is a half zip regulator waffle and it sold for the full price of $40 in under a week. If you can find Patagonia stuff, it pretty much doesn't matter what it is. Anything from like a plain t-shirt to a polo to a jacket to pants. All of it's going to sell. Obviously, the price is going to vary, but Patagonia overall is just a great brand to look for. And if you aren't looking for it, you need to start looking for it. So here we have another jersey. This is a Puma Arsenal jersey. This one is for the player Mustafi. I had some of you guys in my comments say that this one wouldn't sell, that he's not a good player, and you know, this and that, but it ended up selling in like 2 weeks. Had it listed at $29.95, sold it for $24.50. It's not a bad profit at all. I think I had like $5 into it. But just goes to show, even if that the player isn't the most desirable player, they still will sell because people are fans of the team and they do have cult followings to where people want to collect all the jerseys. So even though he isn't a super wanted player, he was one that sold well for me. So just keep an eye out. So here we have an Adidas women's large 3-stripe Trefoil track jacket. The reason I threw this in here is because it sold for $40. Now normally I get around the $30 mark for the track jackets. However, this one had a really cool colorway, and I wanted to point out the 3 stripes on the sleeves are a very searched for term for Adidas, and so is this Trefoil logo right here on the chest. This is more desirable than like the bar logo that they have. If you see these two things on a track jacket, it probably is worth picking up. Now, they are redoing some of the Trefoil track jackets, and you have to figure out which one's vintage and which one's not. Typically, you want to look at the tag and figure that out. However, this one sold in about a month for me for a full price of $40. So some of these bread and butter items can turn into even better items if you know what you're looking for. So this is a North Face Jester day pack. I had the intention of keeping this for myself and using it as like a camera bag for me. However, I just never ended up using it or anything, so I figured I'd go ahead and sell it. It was brand new without tags, and I ended up selling it for the best offer of $45, and it sold in under a week. North Face is one of those brands where anything that has their logo on it's going to sell. Anything from their clothing to their bags to their climbing gear to their hiking gear. Pretty much anything North Face is going to sell, so if you do see something North Face, it's probably worth looking up, especially stuff that looks brand new because they will command a premium. So I wanted to round out this video by showing you guys one of the helmets that has sold from that helmet lot I picked up. If you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. It was my first thrift haul of the year, and I found like $4,700 worth of brand new inventory, so it was insane. This helmet was one of those things. I ended up picking up around 20 of these helmets, and they've already started selling. This is one of them, sold for $189.95. Now I paid $20 a piece for each of these helmets, so I'm making a very, very good profit on each of these. And these are the kind of finds that just get me excited to go thrifting, because when you find stuff like this, it's just such a rush and such a good feeling. And these are the kind of finds that make you want to keep getting out there and doing stuff. But be on the lookout for brand new items, because if you're scanning them, you can find some crazy margins on stuff. Now these were brand new with tags. Even without it, there were some that were used that I sold for some very good money, like $90, $80. I've sold like 6 of these so far, and they are just such an insane score. I only wanted to put one in this video to show you an example, so like every other item wasn't a helmet, but just know that these items are selling, and it was a fantastic pickup, and if you haven't seen that video, you should definitely go check it out. But that's going to wrap up the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys learned some stuff to put on your bolo list for when you're out treasure hunting. If you did, please hit the like button. It really helps out this video get put out there more for people to find it. And also remember to subscribe so you stay up to date with the content that I'm putting out. With that being said, thank you for watching. Remember to keep on treasure hunting, and until next time, peace.